Hello there, good afternoon. This is Sanjay Singh, your sales coach. And in this live session today, we are going to talk about what exactly is sales management. Yes, friends, we have been interacting with a lot of sales people. So you start your career in sales, you start working in sales, you become a good salesperson, and then over a period of 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, you become a performing salesperson, and there comes a time when you want to become a sales manager, and that's the time you start tweaking with the fact that hey, I have been doing great sales, I have been achieving great numbers. Then why is it that I don't become a sales manager? Or the inverse question, that what exactly is required to become a great sales manager? What exactly are you trying to manage in sales? Because the general understanding is that if I'm good in sales, then I must be made a sales manager. Well, you could be good in selling, but not necessarily good in managing sales. So, all sales managers are good salespersons, but all salespersons are not necessarily good sales managers. Right? I can further qualify by saying all good salespersons are not necessarily great sales managers. So, in today's session, we'll try and understand what exactly is sales management, what are those five, six things which you need to manage in sales, and how do you really elevate yourself to the level of sales manager. For those of you who are already sales managers, you must watch this video till the end to kind of ratify yourself whether you're on the right track or not, because many sales managers feel that they are managers and they have some powers and privileges, and that's where it ends. It doesn't really end there, friends. I know a lot of sales managers who say that, sir, the whole life we have spent in selling. Now we have got the time to monitor salespeople. Hence, I'm sales manager. Hence, I'm a boss, and I'm going to show my power to my team. Such kind of sales managers are normally very useless sales managers, and they create a lot of toxicity within the sales team. All right, so let's start our program today by this understanding that you cannot manage sales. Sales is an outcome, right? Sales is an outcome. Now, you cannot control the uncontrollable, correct? So, what you end up selling is a byproduct of what you end up giving to the function of sales. So, I always say that you can't manage sales, you can manage inputs that leads to sales. It's something similar to say that you can't manage time, you can only manage your behavior towards time, and that's the way you manage time. So you can't manage sales, you can manage the inputs that leads to sales. So when you talk of sales management, let us try and understand what is required to be given as input into the field of sales. Now, if someone asks me that, Sanjay, please compress this entire world of sales, I would say that more calls is equal to more sales. Now, this is an empirical formula in sales. The more number of new people you meet in the market, you increase the probability of making more sales. So, whatever is the formula, whatever is the number of team size that you have, whatever technology you're using, whichever area of the world, and whatever product you're selling, finally, the first thing that you need to manage is how do you maximize the number of new calls which is made every day through your sales team? How do you manage it? So, at the beginning of the day, what is the total number of new contacts you want to reach out to? At the during the middle of the day, around noon, how many have you actually been able to reach to? And then towards the end of the day, trying to understand what are the new contacts in terms of numbers that your entire sales team has met, and what is your input as a sales manager to maximize the outreach index of the sales team. Now, for me, this is the first thing that a sales manager should be able to manage. And when I say manage, I mean optimize. So, how do you maximize the number of people who maximize the number of new contacts that you are able to make in the market every day, because the more number of new contacts that you meet, the more is the probability of getting a new customer, and the more is the probability of getting a new customer, the more is the probability of adding fresh business to your bottom line. So that's the first thing that you need to manage. The second thing that you need to manage is, out of all the old calls that your team has made, now every sales call results into a task, which is a follow. Now follows are of three types: follow up, follow back, and follow through. So the follow which is required the moment you meet a new customer for the first time is called follow up. After meeting him for the first time, all the follows that is required in terms of understanding the need and sending proposal and so on and so forth is called follow back. And once the customer has told you that no, he's not interested in buying your product, and you still follow him or her till eternity, that is called follow through. So, as a sales manager, the second thing that you need to manage is every follow up happening the way it should? All follow up tasks due today must be fulfilled. So, on a daily basis, are you able to ensure that all the follows which were due today from various salespeople, have they been fulfilled? Have they been contacted? Have they been given their whatever was promised from your company? So if a salesperson of yours has promised someone to give a proposal by the 4th of May, and today happens to be 4th of May, then is it happening today or not? Right? So the second thing that you need to manage in sales is ensure that all the follows promised by your team for today is fulfilled. And if not, then as a manager, you need to know what are the promises that have not been fulfilled, and towards the end of the meeting, you can review it. Okay, classic. Now, the third thing that you need to manage in sales is you've got to ask this question to yourself: is your sales funnel leaking? Well, this is the third most important thing that a sales manager needs to manage, because by virtue of your hard work, you meet more and more people in the market, you generate more and more leads, you keep on populating your sales funnel with more and more leads. Now, after populating your sales funnel with more and more leads, you start following up with the leads. After following up with the leads, if the reciprocation from the customer is not strong, slowly you have a tendency to forget the lead. And you're unpleasantly surprised after some time when you suddenly realize that this lead that you forgot to follow has taken your product from your competitor. Bad, isn't it? So the third important task of a sales manager is to ensure that the sales funnel of the sales team should not be leaking, which means that the manager is expected to have a very strong vigil on the sales funnel of every individual and on the sales funnel of the sales team, and should have broad metrics to tell himself or herself whether the metrics corroborate to the point that the team is working or not. So the third thing that needs to be managed is ensure, is your sales funnel leaking? Okay. Now let me come to the fourth point that you need to manage. A sales manager has to ensure that the MCPC index of the sales team is high. Now, MCPC is an acronym for more customer per customer. And if you're struggling with the idea as to how exactly MCPC is calculated, so MCPC is a summation of reference selling, cross-selling, and upselling that you do through an existing customer. So all the existing customers that is there in your pipe, in your kitty, in your CRM software, as a manager, you have to ensure that the respective salespersons are doing everything possible to ensure and induce reference selling, cross-selling, and upselling. And it is told as a thumb rule that for every 100 rupees of sale done by your team, 8 rupees worth of cross-selling and upselling and 15 rupees worth of reference selling is there for you, provided you have a process set up for these three functions. So this is the third thing that you actually need to manage and taking it forward, you also need to manage a customer loyalty program. Because as a sales manager, you are not only bothered about new acquisitions, but you are also bothered about repeat purchase, because it is very well known that the cost of acquiring a customer for the first time is almost 10 times the cost of acquiring a new business from an existing customer. And getting new business from existing customers is only possible through a customer loyalty program. Oh, sorry. So, as a sales manager, are you managing the customer loyalty program? Is the fourth thing that you need to manage in taking it forward. I'm sure you are aware of this concept of lifetime value. So, for those of you who are hearing it for the first time, lifetime value is a value which any customer in the world gives to a vendor in his lifetime. So, if I have bought a mobile phone from a vendor worth 1 lakh rupees, and if the vendor understands lifetime value, he should keep in touch with me, because I will be upgrading this mobile after 1 year, 6 months, 2 years, to another one, and yet another one. So, if I calculate the total value of the mobiles that I use before I die, divided by the number of years that I live, that's my lifetime value. Now, as a sales manager, you need to know what is the lifetime value of a typical customer in your business. You need to educate your sales team about it, and you need to manage monetization of lifetime value in your business. So, this very clearly says that as a manager, you are bothered about new business coming in, and you're also bothered about leveraging the monetization of LTV, which would normally come from your existing customers. All right, fantastic. Now, having said this, it is important to realize that the demand of every customer of yours is evolving. Now, when you are working in a company and as a sales manager, in my 38 years of career till now, I have not come across any sales manager or boss who is happy with the last target given. Because they give you a demand forecasting, you achieve it, they give you another higher demand forecasting, you achieve it, and yet more and yet more. Right? So I have never seen in 38 years of experience that my demand forecasting or the targets given to me has gone down. They have always gone up. They keep on going north. Now, this is an important task. This is a sixth important task of a sales manager, to manage the evolving demand forecasting of your business. So your boss or your owner or people to whom you report to will keep on asking for a higher target for you and your team to achieve. Now, this needs to be managed. For those of you who come to a conclusion that the market is saturated, and a lot of you come to this conclusion very fast, are actually damaging your career. There is no market in a country like India which ever gets saturated. Okay? So, to be able to manage the evolving demand forecasting of your business, you need to do one of these four things. Either you need to look for a new territory, or a new product, or a new sales resource, or a group of sales resource, or a new use case study for your product. So, this is the seventh thing that you need to manage in sales, where even when your sales team is busy in acquiring business for today, as a manager, you are busy in looking for a new territory or a new product or new use case study, new sales resource for yourself, because as a manager, you know that no boss in the world is ever happy with the last target achieved. So he is going to increase your target. Now, instead of sitting and cribbing for the incremental target, if you keep yourself ready for the next increment in your target, I'm sure you will keep on surprising your ecosystem with all the results. Now, once you've gone through these deliverables which a sales manager needs to manage, let us come to the human angle of it. As a sales manager, you're expected to manage the team cohesiveness, team motivation, welfare, and the conflict that comes within the team. Now, this is the human aspect of a sales manager. He needs to manage these three elements, and to be able to manage these three elements, it is very important that you are a good sales leader. Because if you're only a sales manager and not a sales leader, you will not lead from the front. You would not go to the field as much as you should. And if you don't go to the field as much as you should, then you will not have as much information on the market as you should. And if you keep on having sagging levels of information on the market, slowly your control over the sales team will keep on dying down, and you will not be able to maintain cohesiveness, motivation, and manage the conflict that arises there. So, very strong recommendation that be a sales leader and not just a sales manager. Now, whatever we have discussed till now, if we try to comprehend within a menu, so if I give you a sales management menu, it reads outreach, that is how many new contacts, plus follows. So all the tasks due for the day must be done. So outreach plus follow plus funnel, where I said that let's not have a leaking funnel, plus MCPC, which is reference selling, cross selling, upselling, plus LTV, plus sales quota or sales target. So that's the menu. If you are able to do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you are a good sales manager. Now just go through this list and tell yourself, is it possible to do it? So friends, as I just told you, sales management is possible only through good sales leadership. So you can be a great sales manager and yet not be a great sales leader. But if you're a great sales leader, it is compulsory that you must be a good sales manager also. So what we're trying to say, don't restrict yourself to only management, but take yourself one notch higher, become a sales leader, a sales ninja, who understands sales management and who understands this seven nuances of sales management, which I just spoke about in the last 17 minutes of this video. So friends, today now after this session, I hope you have clarity on what is sales management. And for those of you who have not understood this, sales management menu is what I had showed you, which is a combination of outreach, follows, funnel management, MCPC, LTV plus sales quota. Now, when you do all this, the inputs that you're giving towards sales is right. And as we started the session, we said you cannot manage sales. You can manage inputs that leads to sales. Now, friends, these are the 8 inputs which you have to give to the system of sales to be able to become a great sales manager. So, I look forward to you sharing your live questions basis of whatever we discussed today. Sales management is a very conscious exercise. Just because you speak good English or just because you look good, or just because your company sells a great product does not mean that you will sell more. You will sell more only when you understand sales management better. So friends, this is Sanjay Singh, your sales coach, signing off there. Remember, whenever you think of managing sales, ask yourself what are the 8 things which as inputs we could manage in sales. And then, therefore, as a result, as a byproduct, you could be able to sell more. Friends, signing off, sales is the only profession which can bring you name, fame, and money at a speed faster than any other sales, any other profession in the world. And this is Sanjay Singh with a mission to empower 1 million salespersons with the art of selling before 2025. Please help me connect to all your fellow salespersons so that this good message could be spread. Till such time we meet again on a similar podcast or vlog, let me sign off here with a strong resolve that बच्चों बेचना सीख लोगे तो जिंदगी बन जाएगी.